They told me it would hurt, but I never expected this. I thought awakening would feel like peace, like bliss, like something ethereal that would softly descend upon me in the form of clarity and light. I imagined it as an unfolding, a graceful process of becoming. But what I found was pain raw, unrelenting, soul-ripping pain. And here's what most don't understand. If you are one of the chosen ones, if you feel that inner pull towards something greater, if you sense that your life has always been about something deeper than what the world shows you, then that pain you've been avoiding is not a punishment. It's a message. It's the oldest form of communication between your soul and your conscious mind. It's your spirit trying to shake you awake from the illusion that you can keep living on the surface and expect to feel whole. So many people run from their pain, distract themselves endlessly, numb out with entertainment, validation, consumption, and temporary pleasures because they've never been taught that pain is sacred. But the truth is, pain is not your enemy. It's your compass. I remember being in the mountains of Bhutan, in a remote monastery where monks live in complete silence for years at a time. Their lives are stripped of every distraction, every comfort, every external form of identity. I met an old monk who had meditated in a dark cave for 17 years. When I asked him what the hardest part was, he didn't mention the cold, the hunger, or the solitude. He looked me straight in the eyes and said, facing the pain I had buried inside me, that was the real wilderness. That statement shattered everything I thought I knew about spiritual growth. Because we all imagine the journey of awakening to be this gentle ascent into peace, but the real path takes you through your own inner hell. It takes you into the caves of your past, your wounds, your guilt, your shame, your regrets, your forgotten memories, and it demands that you sit there, in the dark, with all of it. The cave is not where we go to hide. It's where we go to transform, and if you are chosen, if you feel the call, then your cave is waiting for you. Pain never arrives without purpose. It's not random. It's divine. The universe, God, the source, whatever language you choose to use it, does not waste experiences. When your soul is ready to evolve, the universe doesn't send you comfort, it sends you fire. That fire will burn everything inside of you that is not in alignment with your truth. But that fire will strip away your masks, your attachments, your illusions, and your coping mechanisms. It will feel like death, but it's actually a birth. The death of your false self, the birth of your authentic being. That's why it hurts so much, because something is ending. But what's ending is what's been holding you back.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lesson.
And this is where most people get it wrong. They ask, why does it have to be this hard? But the real question is, would you have paid attention if it wasn't? Be honest. Would you have changed if it didn't hurt? Would you have left that toxic relationship? Would you have walked away from that soul-crushing job? Would you have questioned your beliefs if your life wasn't falling apart? Most of us would not. Comfort is a sedative. It lulls us into sleep. Pain is the alarm clock. It's the soul's way of saying, wake up. You're not living in alignment with who you really are. And when that message gets ignored for too long, the pain intensifies. There's a sacred moment that occurs right after the pain hits, when everything you thought you knew about yourself starts to collapse. Your identity, your roles, your stories, they all begin to crumble. And in that moment, You either run or you rise. Most people run. They reach for distractions, for someone to blame, for something to numb the ache. But the chosen ones do something different. We turn inward. We sit with it. We breathe into it. We ask it questions. We say, "What are you trying to teach me?" That is the beginning of real power. That is the moment you stop being a victim of your pain and become a student of your soul. You have to understand that your pain is not random. Your anxiety, your depression, your heartbreak, they are not flaws. They are signals. They are sacred invitations to go deeper. What if your anxiety isn't a flaw, but a compass pointing to where you've been living out of integrity? What if your sadness isn't a malfunction, but a message from the part of you that has been silenced for too long? What if your heartbreak isn't a tragedy, but a spiritual initiation? The world will tell you to get over it, to fix it, to numb it, to move on. But those of us who are chosen know better. We know that the only way out is through. We know that the wound is where the light enters. We know that healing isn't about returning to who we were. It's about becoming who we were meant to be. There was a time in my life when I sat in complete darkness for 4 days. No phone, no light, no sound. Just me and my thoughts. At first, it was unbearable. The silence was deafening. The darkness pressed against my mind like a weight. But then, something shifted. On the second day, I started to see memories I had buried. But on the third day, I cried uncontrollably. And by the fourth day, I heard a voice not in my ears, but in my being. It said, "You are not broken. You are breaking open." That changed everything for me. I realized that the pain wasn't here to destroy me. It was here to return me to myself. And I ask you now, with every ounce of sincerity, what pain have you been avoiding? What is it trying to awaken in you? If you're watching this, you are already one of the chosen. Because only those who are ready to awaken are drawn to messages like this. The fact that you feel deeply, that you're sensitive, that you cry when others don't, that you notice things others miss, that's not a curse. That's your gift. That's your initiation. You are being prepared for something greater. But you cannot step into your calling if you're still ignoring your pain. You can't rise into your purpose while dragging the weight of unhealed wounds behind you. Healing doesn't mean pretending everything is okay. It means being honest about what's not. It means sitting with your pain without rushing it, without numbing it, without judging it. Can you be present with your own suffering? Can you hold your brokenness like a sacred child that simply wants to be seen? That's the real spiritual work, not bypassing, not escaping. Not putting a bandage of positivity over a gaping wound. Real healing means feeling. It means truth. It means surrender. And when you do that, when you face your pain with open eyes and an open heart, something miraculous happens. And the pain transforms. It stops being heavy. It stops being terrifying. It becomes wisdom. It becomes clarity. It becomes power. That's the paradox. The very thing you've been running from is the key to your liberation. And here's the secret most never discover: the more you allow yourself to feel your pain, the more divine power flows through you. Pain opens portals. It expands your capacity to hold light. The depth of your suffering becomes the foundation for the height of your awakening. But you must walk through the fire. You must stop running. You must stop avoiding. You must stop pretending. Because the truth is, your pain contains your purpose. Your wounds are the blueprint for your mission. Your heartbreak is the opening to your gift. So I'll ask you again, not casually, but with the weight of every soul that has ever walked this path, are you ready to stop ignoring the pain that's trying to awaken you? Are you ready to be honest about what's hurting? Are you willing to sit in the silence and listen to what your soul has been trying to say for years? Because if you are, then everything can change. Not overnight, not without effort, but with presence, with surrender, with devotion. Yes, everything can change. We live in a world that fears silence, or a world that categorizes pain as a problem to be solved, not an experience to be understood. We are taught from a young age to deny discomfort, to hide our tears, to replace vulnerability with strength, and to wear a smile even when our hearts are breaking. But the truth is, every time we deny our pain, we deny a doorway to truth. Pain doesn't come to ruin your life. It comes to strip away what no longer serves your evolution. It comes to awaken you to what you've forgotten, to make you remember who you really are beneath the noise, the roles, the expectations, and the lies you've been told about your worth. And if you are one of the chosen ones, then your pain is sacred. It is not something to avoid, it is your most trusted guide. And there is a strange paradox in the spiritual path. The deeper you go, the more pain you must confront. Not because you are cursed, but because the layers that kept you asleep have to fall away. You cannot awaken while clinging to illusions, and illusions don't dissolve gently. They crack, they shatter, they collapse in ways that feel like your whole world is breaking apart. But in truth, it's not your world that's breaking, it's your false self. The identity that was built on survival, on pleasing others, on fear, on ego and insecurity. That version of you must die so the real you can be born. And death always comes with grief. Grieve it. Mourn the version of yourself that you thought you had to be. Mourn the dreams that were never truly yours. Mourn the relationships that were built on codependency instead of truth. Let it all fall away. Because in the ashes of what you're losing, you will discover something eternal, your essence, your soul, your light. But you can't find it if you're still pretending to be okay. You can't find it if you keep pushing your pain to the side, hoping it will dissolve on its own. It won't. It will wait. It will follow you. It will whisper in your quietest moments until you turn to face it. And when you finally do, you'll realize it was never there to destroy you. It was always there to deliver you. You are not weak for feeling deeply. You are not broken because you carry wounds. You are not lost because you question everything. In fact, these are signs that you are awakening. The chosen ones are not chosen because they are better. They are chosen because they are willing to walk through the fire, willing to sit inside the storm, willing to be alone if it means being true. And that willingness makes all the difference. Because pain will visit everyone, but only a few will answer its call. Let me ask you something. What if your pain is not a mistake, but a map? What if the thing you've been trying to fix is the very thing that will lead you home? What if your heartbreak was the only way to crack the armor you built around your heart? What if your breakdown was the beginning of your breakthrough? You see, when you stop resisting your pain, you stop resisting your power. Because pain is the threshold, and once you cross it, a new world opens. A world of depth, a world of truth, a world of soul. Most people will never see it, because they're too busy avoiding the very thing that holds the key. You've been taught to believe that healing is about becoming happy, about getting back to normal. But what if healing is about becoming real? What if healing is less about fixing and more about remembering? Remembering the parts of you that you buried. Remembering the voice that got silenced. Remembering the dreams you abandoned to fit in. True healing is not a return, it's a revolution. It's the courage to reclaim what you lost in the process of survival. And in that reclaiming, something extraordinary happens. The pain begins to transform. It stops being something that haunts you and starts becoming something that empowers you. The same pain that once made you feel small becomes the very source of your compassion, your purpose, your strength. You begin to see it not as something to get rid of, but as something to integrate. And in that integration, you become whole. I met a man once who had lost everything: his family, his business, his health. He told me that for years he tried to rebuild his life the way it used to be. But nothing worked. Nothing felt right. Until one day he stopped trying to go back. He sat with his pain and asked it, "What do you want from me?" And the answer changed his life. He said, "I realized I wasn't meant to rebuild the life I lost. I was meant to build the life I was born for." That is the gift of pain. It redirects you. It reorients you. It realigns you with your soul's path. But only if you're willing to listen. Most people never stop long enough to hear the message behind the pain. They patch it up, push through, move on. But that's not your path. You're not here to get over it. You're here to get through it. You're here to go deeper, to feel what others refuse to feel, to see what others are afraid to see. That's what makes you different. That's what makes you chosen. So don't compare your journey to theirs. Don't expect your healing to look like theirs. You're not here to be normal. You're here to be real. And realness comes with a cost. You will lose people. You will outgrow environments. You will be misunderstood. But you will gain yourself. You will gain clarity, peace, alignment, and truth. And those are things no one can give you and no one can take away. So the next time the pain returns, don't run. Don't numb. Don't distract. Sit with it. Breathe into it. Ask it what it wants you to see. And then listen. Because in that silence, in that raw vulnerability, you will hear something you've been waiting your whole life to hear: the voice of your true self. The part of you that knows why you're here. The part of you that remembers the mission. The part of you that cannot be broken. And once you hear it, once you feel it, you will never be the same. You will stop searching outside yourself for answers. You will stop needing approval. You will stop settling for half-truths and shallow connections. Because you will know who you are. And nothing is more powerful than a soul who remembers itself. So ask yourself now with complete honesty, what pain have you been avoiding? What truth have you been afraid to face? What would happen if you stopped running? What would happen if you sat down right now and made space for everything you've been trying not to feel? Would it break you, or would it finally set you free? This is the path of the chosen ones. It is not easy. It is not glamorous. It is not quick. But it is real. It is sacred. And it is worth every tear, every moment of doubt, every night spent in the dark wondering if the light will ever return. Because it does, but not in the way you expect. The light doesn't come from outside. It comes from within, from the fire you lit by facing your pain, from the love you reclaimed by embracing your shadow, and from the truth you remembered when you stopped pretending and started listening. This is not the end of your pain. It is the beginning of your power. When the soul begins to awaken, the first thing it confronts is not the light, it's the shadow. Awakening is not a gentle process. It is a sacred upheaval, a dismantling, a fire that burns through everything that is false. And if you are one of the chosen ones, you don't get to bypass that fire. You were never meant to. You were meant to walk through it, to be forged by it, to come out on the other side, not as someone who has escaped pain, but as someone who has mastered it not by controlling it, but by surrendering to its wisdom. You see, pain is not the opposite of awakening. It is the path. It is the doorway. It is the invitation. And the moment you stop treating it as an obstacle, it begins to reveal everything you've been searching for. We live in a world that glorifies image over essence, comfort over character, distraction over depth. But the chosen ones don't find peace in shallow waters. We are called into the deep. We are pulled into silence, into solitude, into the places most people avoid. Because it is there, in the quiet, in the aching, in the stillness, that something sacred begins to emerge. A voice, a knowing, a presence that cannot be explained, only experienced. The world will tell you that you need to move on, get over it, stay positive. But you are not here to be surface level. You are here to be real, and realness demands that you feel the full spectrum of your humanity. The grief, the rage, the sorrow, the longing, the confusion, all of it is part of your awakening. The wound is not the end of your story. It is the beginning of your transformation. But only if you let it speak. Only if you stop silencing it with shame or distraction. Only if you stop blaming others and start listening inward. The pain you carry is not there to punish you. It's there to purify you. It's there to strip away everything that is not truly you. And yes, that process hurts. But what is pain really, if not the soul shedding its skin? What is suffering, if not the resistance to the truth of what is? Every time you push your pain away, you reinforce the very identity that's keeping you stuck. But when you lean in, when you allow it, when you finally sit still enough to hear its message, something ancient and powerful awakens within you. You begin to see your life differently. You begin to see that the people who hurt you were not just villains, they were mirrors. You begin to realize that the situations you thought were breaking you were actually shaping you. You begin to understand that every heartbreak was a step on the path back to your own heart. And in that understanding, something breaks open. A compassion, a clarity, a connection to something greater than yourself. But this is what the chosen ones are being prepared for: alignment with truth. Not just conceptually, but experientially, living, breathing truth. Truth that you embody, truth that you radiate. But you cannot embody truth until you face the lies. The lies you believed about your worth. The lies you inherited from your family, your culture, your trauma. The lies that said you had to be someone else to be loved. The pain is what brings those lies to the surface. It's what exposes them. It's what gives you the chance to choose again. To choose truth over illusion. To choose presence over performance. To choose soul over ego. But that choice is not made once. It's made every day, in every moment, especially when it hurts. Especially when the old patterns come knocking, when the old stories try to pull you back. That's when you must remember who you are becoming. That's when you must remember why you started this journey. Not to escape pain, but to be initiated by it. Not to avoid the darkness, but to become the light within it. The chosen ones are not chosen to be above others. We are chosen to go first, to feel more, and to see deeper, to heal harder, and through that healing we become bridges. We become vessels for something higher. But that can only happen if we are willing to stay with the process, to not give up when it gets hard, to not rush the unfolding. The soul doesn't work on a timeline. It doesn't care about your goals. It cares about your growth, and sometimes that growth requires seasons of solitude, of unlearning, of letting go. It may require walking away from everything that once defined you. And that's okay, because who you are becoming is far more real than who you've been pretending to be. So I ask you now, not from a place of performance, but from a place of presence, what would happen if you stopped trying to fix your pain and started listening to it? What if you stopped asking, when will this end? And started asking, what is this here to teach me? What would change in your life if you trusted that the pain you're feeling is not a curse, but a calling to rise, a calling to return, a calling to remember the part of you that existed before the world told you who to be? And here's what's even more powerful. The moment you stop resisting your pain, you begin to access the gifts it was guarding. Deeper empathy, heightened intuition, unshakable authenticity, soul-aligned purpose. These gifts are not found in the absence of pain. They are born through it. They are carved out by it. That is the alchemy, turning what was meant to break you into the very foundation of your becoming. And once you've tasted that kind of truth, you will never again settle for a life that is disconnected from your soul. You will stop chasing what doesn't nourish you. You will stop trying to explain your path to those who don't understand it. You will stop apologizing for your depth, your vision, your voice, because you will know. You will know that your pain was not a detour, it was the initiation, the sacred passage, the doorway to everything real. And in that knowing, you become dangerous in the best way. Because a person who has met their pain and survived it with eyes open and heart intact is a person who cannot be controlled, who cannot be manipulated, who cannot be bought or broken. That is the power of the chosen ones, not perfection, not performance, presence, integrity, truth. So let me ask you one last time, are you ready to stop ignoring the pain that's trying to awaken you? Not just ready in theory, but ready in practice, ready to sit, ready to feel, ready to let go, ready to listen. Because if you are, then this is the beginning of a new life. A life not rooted in fear, but in freedom. Or a life where your past no longer defines you, but refines you. A life where your wounds are not your weakness, but your wisdom. A life where you no longer run from pain, but walk with it head high, heart open, soul on fire. This is not just a video, this is a mirror. And if you've seen yourself in it, if your soul has stirred, if your spirit has risen, then don't look away. Don't go back to sleep. Don't silence what is waking up within you. Trust it. Honor it. Follow it. Because the pain you've been avoiding was never meant to break you. It was always meant to bring you home.